What's up, guys? Welcome to Loud and Proud Orlando. It's Friday, March the 10th, 8:04 p.m. Thank you so much for being live. We have Antonio Carlos right here, right? He's back in full form. He was training today with, I think it was yesterday. Yeah. No, yeah, it was yesterday. He was training yesterday at full training, with the whole squad. So those are very good news. Excited to have our starting center back in full form. I think we definitely needed him. We're definitely going to need him against Tigres coming up, and DC United as well. All right, we've done some games against DC that have been very important. The last one we lost 2-1 in Audi Field. So a lot to talk about. Leagues Cup, brackets, DC United. So drop us a like, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for all notifications. Thank you so much for being live with us right now. And again, support us by just clicking on that bell, subscribe to the channel. And if you're not watching this live, you're listening to Spotify and Apple Podcasts, thank you so much. Make sure that you answer the survey that's going to be there as well. Thank you so much for all your support. And John, how are you, my friend? How's everything? Excited for what's coming.
Everything's great. Yeah, I'm having a great week. I mean, what a result against Tigres that was. Super happy and excited for back-to-back games. I love the Saturday, Wednesday is endless soccer. I love it.
Yeah, it's going to be endless soccer. And, let's start with first, I want to give kudos to Pedro Galese. He's in this best 11 for the CONCACAF Champions League right here for the round of 16. Look at that. Pedro Galese right there. Ivan Moreno for Club Leon. Carlos Melendez from Motagua. Ramposa from the Whitecaps. Olympia, man. Olympia destroyed Atlas. Like, it was crazy. Like, I wasn't expecting it. Olympia, I've only heard Olympia, like the song Olympia. I've heard my old high school is called Olympia High School. So, but Olympia, CD Olympia, I know that they were four times champions of Honduras. But when you see Atlas and they've been the winners of the Liga MX not too long ago, you expect for what happened in Austin, against Austin for Violet, right? So I mean, this is a crazy tournament. So Julian Gressel's on there, former DC United player. Eli Sanchez from LAFC and Mish, oh, I think I'm spelling it correctly, Mish Nader Cherry from Violet AC. Now, good for the Pulpo, right? I think he had a fantastic performance, so definitely happy for him. And just to jump in real quick, we're going to talk about the Leagues Cup. The good thing about it is, and a player availability, I want to thank Orlando City for this. The only one left is there, Fabian Loyola. We are pretty much full, healthy Orlando City squad. So I'm excited about that as of March 9th. So that's great to hear. Now the brackets are on for the Leagues Cup. And let me go ahead and share my screen right now, right here. So we are going to be in the South in the second bracket with Santos Laguna and Houston Dynamo. Now, what are your expectations, John, for this tournament, especially for Orlando City? Do you think we should play some of our youth players? Do you think we should go for it, depending on what
Uh,
happens at Exploria, maybe?
I think a lot of MLS teams are going to rotate guys in this tournament. So I think if we were playing like Houston, I think it's safe to play a rotated squad, some of the reserve guys for sure. If we're playing Santos, maybe not. Again, it depends how serious we're taking this tournament. I don't know in the order of, importance for the tournaments this year, with there being so many games, whether they're going to prioritize the Leagues Cup. Historically, it's something that Orlando City is very good at. Like we do well, like we did well in MLS is back. We obviously just won the Open Cup. Like we are known to be a good Cup tournament team. So maybe they will prioritize it, in which case we're going to play, the first team. I expect us to get out of the group for sure. I think if we play our first team, we'll get out of it S1 as it is in the bracket. So we'll be the number one, sorry, S2 winner, as it were. And I think if we play some reserve guys, we'll get out of the S2 as the second team, the runner up in S2. So I kind of looked at where that would lay us out, but I don't know if you did the same thing and who we might meet, because it's a little bit interesting as to who we might see in the next round.
Now, first is the group stage. So let's kind of explain people. First is a group stage, and we are on the south right here, S2, right? And so we're gonna play Santos Laguna. We're gonna play Houston Dynamo July 21st, and then we're gonna play on July 29th, Santos Laguna, both at Explorer Stadium. Okay. Now, the if we win both games, we'll be in the top of our group, and we will face the second one of the second places of our South group. So it could be based on a draw. So it could be either Miami, it could be any of the other teams. It could be also Mexican team. It could be Cruz Azul.
Well,
it could
actually,
be Juarez.
if we win S2, then you play
Yeah.
the S3 winner,
Yep.
which could
Yep.
either be most likely Atlanta
or Cruz Azul.
Miami. So it looks like most likely we're playing a big rival in that first round.
Exactly. So now, if let's say we go in second, we will face the second place in the same region, right? And after the group stage is all knockout stages, so it's all one game. So knockout stages, which makes the game the whole league interesting at that point. Now, I really, I want to be honest, and I think Course Light's not gonna like what I'm about to say, but I really find no thought of doing this. like like the whole Leagues Cup tournament, like it's just, I mean,
They're just trying to make it like a March Madness bracket, They're
yeah,
trying to really instill that sort of like, hey, it's a big knockout World Cup style tournament, and here's the bracket, and this is how it looks. And
I mean, you're not going to. I mean, first of all, there's salary restrictions in the MLS. There's really no salary restrictions in Mexico. That right there makes the fight uneven. Now you have to understand, a lot of the MLS teams have invested a lot of money in their players. So, in my opinion, I think the level it's becoming very equal. The hegemony or the Mexican teams winning all the time, it's stopping. Seattle Sounders is one of the examples. Orlando City, almost beating Tigres at their own home turf. Like that's another example. So the playing field is being leveled. I think these tournaments, they're all MLS teams are going to be forced to rotate players. So I really don't see a point unless you find a diamond in the rough in the Leagues Cup, like the next, Di Maria, or I don't know, or the next Daryl DK for Orlando, right? I really don't see the point.
A lot of teams are going to use it for that purpose. I think they're going to use it to give guys a chance. Like I think guys like Alex
Fabian
Loyola and Fabian Loyola and Shaq Mohammed and Thomas Williams and Dagger Dan and a lot of these guys who just need minutes in the league. That first year they just got to break in, or the second year they just need a lot of minutes. And this is, I think, what the MLS teams will use this for. What's interesting is because the MLS has so much parity, and because the way I think it's become more and more competitive, like the East, especially the West is very competitive, but the East this year is so competitive, and teams have done so much to make their squad so much stronger. Is the same thing happening across Mexico, or is it like a situation more in Europe where you get 5 or 6 big teams and then some lower end league teams that really don't have the squads that match up at all to those big teams? In which case, what happens when you get one of those lower end Mexican sides playing against an MLS team that does never really played against a Mexican side that often because they're not a Champions League team, right? So there's going to be some interesting matchups from this, and some some teams that wouldn't play each other normally, which I think we're all going to enjoy. I think it's a shame that they haven't made more of the, putting some of the big Mexican teams to play against the big Texan teams. That's really what I would love to see out of this. I think that they could have done the lineup a little bit more interestingly there, where you've got like a huge game where you've got Austin taking on, one of the big Mexican teams.
Yeah, definitely. And hopefully we'll see some of the youth players, some of the reserves making some having some minutes. Thomas Williams, fantastic human being, a great player. Fabian Loyola, maybe even Wilfredo Rivera making an appearance in this tournament for Orlando. Maybe seeing Ramiro Enriquez starting there, being having more of a leadership role. Or even Erjan Kara, just put him in this, put him in. I'll say put Kara in the League's Cup too. I mean, we'll see what will, what's in store for us. Let's go ahead and read some comments. Jim D says, "You can't hurt me. Why? I'm buying DC." Thank you, Jim D. It's, quoting the Bad Brains, legendary band. Jim D. We've got the depth to draw, if not beat DC. That's right. I agree. I think Orlando, and again, I want to say this because it really upsets me because I mean Orlando just came from really do a great thing for the league, which is no one saw what happened in Estadio Universidad in El Volcán. Nobody saw that coming for Orlando to tie against the second spot in the Mexican League right now. And still, without all of that, Google, I don't know if it's Google or the MLS, but they're giving the winning probability to DC to win this game, 42-30. Now, I understand it's a little close, but still, I believe Orlando City is the better squad. They have a guy named Canoes. It sounds like, like I'm just saying, like, I mean, now Ruan's having 0 minutes, right? I believe we may see Ruan in this game just to play man games. Do you know anything about Wayne Rooney? That he likes to play mind games. I know every time he plays against Orlando, he does something crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's something behind like playing Ruan. Like, I mean, often it is done that you play him against your old team. Like when we play Austin, maybe we'll play Felipe. So I can see it happening, but also there's obviously something going on there that he hasn't played at all. Like not even to come off the bench. So why did they take him if they're not going to put him in the starting lineup? I don't understand. Their current right back Nahar. I haven't seen much of DC, so I don't know whether he's good enough to keep Huan out the team or not. Who knows? But so far, no minutes for
Yeah,
Huan.
we'll discuss more of DC in just a minute. Well, let's dive into what happened at Estadio Universidad. We called it in a way. We were saying, we were content with the draw. We're content by drawing this game against Liga MX side Tigres, and we actually got a great result. Orlando has a huge chance to close win the whole series right at home. I am again just like all the players in Orlando. I tell people on the wall, this is the time where you need to pack Explorer Stadium. I understand it's a Wednesday, but it needs to be packed. It's a knockout stage of CONCACAF Champions League, your first CONCACAF Champions League, and you're beating Tigres. It's a huge statement, not only for, and I hope I can see more purple stuff around the MLS where they're putting our logo maybe near Austin's, maybe near LAFC's, maybe putting some of our players' faces, because I feel like Orlando is going to have to definitely make this is a huge statement. If Orlando gets it done, it's a fantastic statement for the league, and I hope the league takes it seriously and gives this franchise what they deserve when it comes to marketing. I don't know what do you think about that, John, because you've been more involved in that type of side of marketing and doing things from the club behind the scenes.
I agree completely. I think it shows the growth of the team for over all the years and how far we've come. And I think I was thinking about the week and looking at the fixtures, and a lot of people probably put that one down as like, oh, I don't want to watch Orlando lose, to Tigres at their stadium. And really, we're the best result of the week. Like Austin playing against a Haitian team that really they should beat. Else we got Philly drawing to an El Salvador team that again
Yeah.
they on paper they should really be beating, and we go away to the hardest team of them all, and we get a draw, which is an incredible result, and it set us up really, really well for the second leg. So I think we should be really proud. And people are talking about us on different podcasts about MLS and North American soccer and podcasts even around the world and what a result this was to go to such a hostile
Important.
environment that is
Yeah.
the Volcan. It's so difficult to go there and get a result. Like MLS teams, I think they said on the broadcast, like last time an MLS team went there and didn't lose was like 2019, or it's only ever happened once. It was all down to Pedro, really. Let's be honest. I mean, there was times there where they could have scored 3 or 4 goals. Gignac
He
was all
was.
over us, and so Pedro. Once again, we said it on the podcast before the game that if we were going to get something out of this game, we needed Pedro to be on form like he has been all season, and all praise must go to him because he was
No,
everywhere.
God save El Pulpo for sure. I want to say both Peruvians. I think they excelled in this game. Cartagena and Pedro Alese. Not to say because I'm Peruvian, but I'm just saying both Peruvians definitely excelled. And again, we said it in this podcast. Pedro had a unsettled business in Mexico, and even though he says it in front of everybody, oh no, it's okay. Things happen. Unsettled business because he was definitely told you're not good enough. You're not good enough for the sport, and he ended up going back to boyhood. His club, Alianza Lima, right? Went to play for Alianza Lima for one season until Orlando came and knocking on the door, and he answered, and he became our keeper. So a monster performance by the Pulpo. I mean, nothing to say by just full leadership. He had one
I
high
think
claim, 90 minutes, 8 saves. Go ahead, John. What were we going to say?
Well, I think the worry I was thinking is that now all the Mexican teams are going to look at him and go, "Oh, we need a keeper next year. I know where we could go and find a very, very good keeper who we can throw a lot of money at." And the problem we have is we managed to keep him on his contract now, but if a team that isn't regulated by salary cap comes in, like a European team or whoever, they could throw as much money as they want at Pedro. And unless we make him a DP, we're kind of limited on that. So as much as I
Yeah,
love him doing well, it makes me so worried that someone's going to come and take him away from us. The better he does.
no, I agree with you, and I mean, but I have a feeling that he's really happy here. I mean, the way I could see his wife and getting settled to the country and to Orlando. She's very involved within the community now as well. I have a feeling that if Messi comes to the MLS and the salary restrictions lower, I have a feeling that hopefully we're able to keep him. Yeah, Mexico's going to try, but I mean they always put the Mexican players first there. So I really, and when it comes to a keeper, you don't see a lot of, unless you're Argentinian or Brazilian, you don't see a lot of keepers from Peru going to Mexico. Pedro was one of these exceptions that Veracruz, which is a very small team that it's disappeared because of corruption scandals, by the way, disappeared completely. He ended up, he ended up being shafted by that team completely. So I really don't know if he would like to go to the MX, but I definitely can see him, Club America, making a huge bet on him if needed be. Cruz Azul, right? A lot of bigger teams for sure. It just depends on Pedro now, right? Two clearances. 50% of his passes were fully completed. 35% of long passes completed, 41 touches of the ball, but just those 8 saves is just they were tremendous. I think I can't put it in words.
He frustrated Gignac. Gignac was like, you could see he was annoyed because he was like, he's so used to just scoring, and this was one of those scenarios where he was like, why can't I get the ball past Pedro? And Pedro was just relentless, would not stop. He was not letting them score. It was not happening.
Yep. And another, and again, I want to give praises to the fans too, because I mean, the fans went to a tough environment, and they felt, they make the team feel comfortable, and in the end, we have massive pictures. I want to give credit to Mark Thor from Orlando City. Fantastic job. He was mentioning it was his first time. He was actually traveling with a club, so that's fantastic. Another one that they did a fantastic job was Robin Jensen. I think Robin Jensen was a great. Orlando defended the ball very well this game. I don't know what were your thoughts regarding the defense for Orlando City, John.
Yeah, I mean, I think you mentioned Cartagena as well that had a great game. Jansen, I mean, Mikey Halliday really stepped it up in a
Mikey Holiday,
huge
yeah,
game. I think Petrasso showed, a
yeah,
great maturity to
Araujo,
defend so well. Araujo had a great game. When we brought on Cartagena and we're playing Araujo and Cartagena there in the defensive midfield, that really made us look a lot more solid.
yes,
And I think that was a great move. It wasn't necessarily a negative move when we had to make that sub because of Enrique coming off to bring Cartagena on. He didn't necessarily make a negative move. All he did was reshuffle the guys and move Mauricio forward and bring on a different midfielder. So that resulted for us being a little bit more solid, but still being able to, have a few threatening attacks. And Ojeda looked interesting as a striker. That was
yeah,
something that I didn't anticipate. But defensively, we looked really solid. And going into this season, I was concerned about our defense. I thought our attack will be fine. We've got so many wingers and strikers. We're
right.
going to score goals, right? And ironically, what happens is, the complete opposite. And defensively, we look very solid. And offensively, you know, we really yet to get going, if that makes sense. Like we
Right,
just
and
not really started offensively yet, sadly.
uh, I'm gonna read some comments. Etromic, I'm here in spirit. I can hear anything as they're blasting music in this restaurant. Haha, how you doing, my friend? Enjoy your dinner, my friend. Chad Elders, Mikey Holiday is turning into a hidden gem. I completely agree. And it was his time, and he's taking advantage of the opportunities given by Oscar Pareja. I think it's fantastic. It shows a lot of maturity on him. I really wish him the best on the U20s. I think he's gonna be ready to represent the country, and I am nothing but you know happy for him. I mean, of the level that he's playing right now.
I,
Um,
for me, nothing fills me with more pride with the idea of thinking that Mikey Halliday, one of our homegrown players, at some point in the near future, could most likely be paying right back for the U.S. men's national team, first team. I mean, he'd already done it for the U20s and the U19s, but that for me is what it's all about. To have a player out there who we've developed from our academy, who's becoming a really potentially top player in MLS. I like that even more than any signing we can do. So, yes, love Mikey's development. Let's get more guys like that through the door for sure.
Now, a couple of rapid fire here. Lions recorded their third consecutive clean sheet to begin the 2023 campaign. Club record. It's a club record, 270 minutes without giving up a goal. That is fantastic. And not having AC, that speaks volumes. Now AC is back, guys, and I'm getting excited. I'm getting excited to see AC back. Let's not rush him though. Let's go game by game. I think maybe he should not play. Maybe he should play some minutes against DC. Maybe if he's fit, some minutes just to lose the legs up. But I think we need to save him for Tigres. I think. I mean, I will put him 10 minutes. like literally.
Yeah, like get him a little bit so he can get some
Yeah.
match fitness out there, but
Uh,
definitely
it
save
w-
him to start for Tigres. No need to start him against DC.
it was Pedro Gales's third shutout as well. Right now, he has 24 in all competitions, and also is the sixth clean sheet in 69 matches for Orlando City. So, you know, I think those are fantastic stats. And Tuesday night was Orlando's debut in the Champions League. Like just to say that, what a statement that was. You know, it's far. I mean, nothing compares to that night. And I want to give kudos to, not. I mean, just the club. You know, it was a whole operation. It was the team. It was Oscar, the team, his staff. It was also communications that went all the way there to Mexico too. I mean, they had to work, you know, and put things for people to see on Twitter, and the videos and the editing and all that stuff. That's a lot of work. And then you also had the fans that travel all the way from Orlando to Monterrey. You know, kudos for that. It shows a lot the growth of the club and the culture of the club thriving overseas. And I'm sure people from Tigres could see now, oh, Orlando City, and that they're like, oh shit, like I'm not saying anything about Orlando now because they almost beat me on my own turf. I now they respect us a little bit, like, you know, by doing things, not by just talking. They actually respect us by playing the sport. Um, let's read some comments here. Jim D, I'm not convinced yet that we can play offense and defense. We seem to be a one-trick pony right now. We'll see. Um, we'll
Yeah,
talk
I
about
mean,
that. I think.
it's hard. I feel like we started to with Enrique coming on, and I think that was great. That first like 30, 40 minutes, we really started to get some offensive flow going. And then Enrique got, injured and had to come off. And then he didn't bring Kara on, which was interesting. He went for I can continue to try other guys in the striker position outside of Kara, which tells me he knows what he's going to get out of Kara, and he's looking at other options. So, but I
And
think
I
we look
believe
good offensively with Enrique on the field.
I have a feeling when you mention that, just to add to that, that Pareja feels that its quickness, Ramiro's quickness, and maybe Ojeda's quickness is far better than Kara's. And so he realizes there's going to be games for Kara, in which we may see him in DC starting. I think we're going to see him against DC starting. And there's going to be games for Ramiro. So when you want to do the high press, like Paula was talking in the last show, when you want to see the high press because you're having rapid wings, right? And you're having a more dynamic team that plays vertically, you're going to obviously have to have a short span from attack and defending. You have to come back to your position quick and press. And so you need somebody like is able to do that. And he feels maybe that Ojeda as a nine and maybe Ramiro could do that, right? So he's seen options. I think it was a great call. I mean, I want to say because, I mean, not
No, I
to
was
say anything.
glad, and I think you're
No,
you're 100% right.
yeah, I mean, not
If
to
you
knock
need that
anything
kind of
against
striker on
Cara.
against Seagrass.
Yeah, that's right, and it's good to have different options. So let's talk about DC because we're already definitely coming into DC. Um, you know, it's a game in which we're going to hopefully see a familiar face. I have a theory that there's a possibility that Ruan may start, even though he has had 0 minutes. But Ruan was traded to DC United, right? And you know, what are your thoughts regarding DC? What are your expectations regarding DC United coming up, John?
Well, I mean, they beat Toronto in their first game 3-2, but they conceded two goals, to Toronto, who yes have some attacking threat but aren't that great, and then they conceded another two goals to Columbus last week. So that's four goals in two games. They're looking defensively weak. A lot of people in their preseason predictions put DC in the lower end of the East.
Oh
So
yeah,
this is
sure.
the kind of team that we should be able to score a goal against, right? So I think that's maybe when you look at the first three teams that we had to play this year, you can attribute a little bit of the reason to maybe why we haven't been so offensively threatening. Rebels, like we talked about, press you very high. That created issues for us being able to build an attack. Cincinnati, like a similar issue, but we never really got going. And then the same thing with Tigres. Maybe now we're playing a team like DC where they're not so defensively strong. We'll be able to actually get a little bit more time on the ball, be able to build an attack, get the passes, develop the play, and actually finally get some goals in the back of the net. And for me, that's the most important thing. And I think this is a team against DC we can do that too. What depends is what we're talking about. I want your opinion on this, Luis. Is you know how much do you go for? I'm going to play my guys Torres, Ojeda, the big stars, Cara, to try and get them a goal, get them some minutes, or how much you say I'm going to rest them and save them for the Tigres game. That's the real question for this one.
I would start my regular squad with Kara as my nine, and we'll do the lineup in just a moment. But I need to kill DC the first half, so I need to be at least up 1 or 2 goals. If I'm up 1 or 2 goals against DC in the first half, then I make the substitutions right there and there. So I'll start, for example, putting
Yeah.
Kyle Smith. I start putting Kyle Smith. I start putting Cartagena, or maybe have Cartagena start with Araujo, or take Rodrigo out.
I
Take
think
Gaston, putting
offensively,
Gaston.
we have to play guys like Torres and Ojeda to
Right.
try and get them, going in the offense, to get them attacking flow wise, get them some goals, like get them, really get them started, getting an open play goal. We still haven't got an open play goal. We've had 3 games. That's a problem. So I think you got to give them
Right.
a half. I think you're totally right. Do that. Give them a half at least. Give them maybe even 60 minutes to try and make something happen. And then as soon as they do, get them out of there and save them for Tigres.
So they have Iceland defender now as well. He played with Enos Dagardan. So I would say play Dagardan. I think he should maybe start him in Cartagena. Like, you have to find a rotation, but you have to have people that move the ball around in the first half, because I think we have the chance of capitalizing on this team in the first half. I mean, we have a better squad than they do, and
Well, that's the strength we have over DC is that squad depth. So I think rotate defensively. I would love to see that, and we've shown that we did that against Cincy, and we were okay, and we were fine. So maybe rotate defensively, rotate in the midfield, but I still want to see Ojeda and Torres out there to get them a chance to get some goals. But I totally agree. Like, let's bring in Dagger Dan. I can see Kyle Smith starting this one. Like we'll go over the lineup in a second, but I definitely think a mix for this game, but with the strikers and the wingers being the first team choices.
yeah, definitely. We're gonna play. Thank you to Orlando City Communications for the footage. I want to go ahead and play the B-roll that they sent us for media, for the training. We can see there. You can see Duncan McGuire and Jack Lynn. Look, scoring in look, Gaston. You see Duggar Dan. I think they should play. Shaq. Look at Shaq right there. Nice cross. See Duggar. See Duggar and Gaston. Kyle, there you go. Nice. Nice score. You see, so we might see Felipe Martins making a debut in this game. I mean, I think
Really, this one, like predicting the lineup is very. I think you could ask 10 people to write down their lineup for this DC game, and they would give you 10 different lineups. Like, it's so many different scenarios of who could be played and how what Papi is thinking about how many minutes he wants to play who before the Tigres game. It's is a difficult part of being a manager is picking the lineup for a game like this.
That's right. And let's play what Robin Jensen said regarding the game coming up.
to go in there and come out with a shutout?
It was great. I
We're
think
talking about Tigres, I
we had
think.
a good game. We played a smart game. When we didn't have the ball, everyone was working in the defense and did a great work. And then we were a little bit more like Orlando when we had the ball. We played a little bit more like we normally do and kept the ball a little bit longer. So yeah, coming out of Mexico with a draw for the second leg with a clean sheet. I think a lot of teams would have taken that and
Yeah,
then
definitely.
prepare for the second leg.
What's the approach with DC away and then Tigres home in such a massive game?
Oh, there you
next
go.
Wednesday? We saw them some rotation against Cincinnati where you came in and played the second half. How do you guys approach that and make sure that everybody's good for Wednesday night?
The approach we have is that we're going to go to DC and get the 3 points. That's the first thing we have in our mind. And then
That's the
we have the
spirit.
Tigres after that. But the first main objective is to get 3 points against DC on the road. Right now, we travel a lot and have a tight schedule. So I think manage the squad and have everyone being ready for being the next man up is very important. And we need everyone to get in there and get everything.
Yeah. So pretty much, we need everyone to step up because we're gonna need some fresh legs. We need to step up, guys. So, and I
think
believe
that's some hints there. You know,
yeah,
the next man
they're
up.
gonna
The next, I
rotate.
think
They're gonna
he's
rotate.
talking about that squad depth that's needed
Yeah,
for sure.
they're
And
gonna
that's
rotate.
why we have this deep squad. But I think it's hard though because if you rotate too much and you lose to DC, everyone's going to be like MLS is the most important thing. Why are you not playing your best players, right? So even if you do that, you're a genius if you rotate and you win, right? Like I thought he was a genius because we rotated for Cincy and we got a draw out of that, and I was like, that was pretty good to get that result with that squad out there. If he rotates and wins against DC with a second, reserve team squad, even better. But
Away.
if you lose, then everyone's going to be hounding on you for losing to DC. Who should be 3 points, right? On the calendar, you're expecting a win against what is considered a lower end Eastern side. So it's a difficult risk, and I think it's got to be a balance. I think there'll be like Cincy. We'll see a balance of some starters and some rotated guys, and I think guys like Gonzalez, like you were saying, is a perfect game for him. Like I would love to see Gonzalez in the starting lineup.
I can put my money right now that this will be probably the starting squad for Orlando City against DC. I mean, I saw it in the video. Like, so it was Kyle. It was, I mean, I even saw Shaq. So, I mean, if you really want to do the line of 3 right here, you can put Shaq where Holiday
is maybe Ojeda gets in there as well. But Ojeda did play a full, 90 minutes at Tigres, right? He didn't get subbed out, I don't think. Or did he right at the end? I don't know. But he did play a lot of minutes, so maybe not. I would love to see Ojeda in that starting lineup, though, and Torres in that starting lineup, like I said, just because they need to get minutes. I'm sorry, they need to get goals. They gotta start scoring.
Right. So if we do our squad, for against DC, who will you
overall
start?
A very similar lineup to what we saw with Cincy. Maybe a few different guys here or there.
So Schlegel, and still you play Jensen? Hello? Oh.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay, you're back. Okay. So you put Schlegel and Jensen then?
Yeah, Schlegel for sure. I think it'll be Schlegel and Jensen. But although I could see Salim.
Yeah, that could be another one. Like you could do the 3 right here, right? The 3 right here, one winger here. One winger here, right? The three right there, like that. That could be it. Um, so who will you go for your three? I'm back.
Sorry about that. Connection issues. Salim for me, I think would be in there. I think you're right. I think he played really well against Cincy, and I don't know if we're gonna go for this three at the back though. I think we just did that because that's what Cincy line up as. I think it'll still be four at the back, and
So
I
you
can
think it's still
see him
before?
resting Janssen for real. I could see Salim, Schlegel, and maybe resting Petrasso. And maybe Mikey too. So I like Kyle Smith at the left back,
Yeah.
and then possibly Alex Freeman at right back. Or who else would you put in at right back if you're playing Kyle Smith? Is Santos ready to play? I
You
don't
could
know
put
yet.
Santos.
We
You
don't
could put
know. That's what I was
Santos. I
thinking.
mean,
Santos maybe rotate. I just don't. I don't think you want to play if Petrasso is really our only
I think we should
in
put
form
Petrasso.
starting left back. We got to save him. Or
Yeah.
at least take him out early if you are going to start him.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
could also put
it's a tough one, this lineup to call.
yeah.
It is. I think Dagordano's going to be in there. I think you're right about
Yep.
that. I think Cartagena is going to start. I think you're right about that. I
I think it's gonna be
can see Arujo being rested.
Cartagena, Dagger,
Yeah.
and as your 10, I think here the top three should be
The other one is Shaq Mohammed could get some minutes possibly.
right. Right.
But
Maybe
I don't know
maybe
if he'll start.
maybe what we could see is this Smith and then Shaq right here.
Had Shaq played that right back position?
Right, but he's more of like a win back. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like he
Yeah.
will be all over here. Maybe they'll try that. I
Yeah.
mean, I would like to see Shaq right there. I mean, he knows how to defend. He knows how to
Yeah.
attack. But I mean, for now we got
maybe
Holiday,
Alex
right?
Freeman will get the start. I don't know. I
Maybe.
think probably Smith at left back to cover instead of Petrasso. I could see that most likely.
Okay, so as your 10,
So-
I would still start with I will rest Mauricio Pereira. That'll be my call.
Yeah,
and I'll
I don't
put
think he's done very well recently anyway, so I'm fine with resting him for this game.
I will put Ojeda and I will put Facundo right
I would
here
put-
just because, like I
Yeah,
said,
exactly. They
just
need
because we
they need the
need
goals.
yeah, and they need to
And then I
definitely
would put Gaston on that left
yeah.
side.
I'll
I
put
think this
Gaston
is
right
very
here, and I will rest
close to what
Angulo.
it will be.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
or you
then
could
I
rest
will put
Angulo.
Gaston. Right, yeah,
And
and then right here,
maybe Maguire, but I think it's going to be Kara.
I would love for it to be Maguire, but I think it's gonna be Urgent Kara, in my opinion. I think it's gonna be Urgent Kara right there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. The only questionable one there is Freeman for me. I think we're gonna not play Mikey at right back. I think he will be rested. The question is, if you're gonna rest Petrasso and bring Smith in to be the replacement left back, who is your replacement right back? If that scenario happens,
Right. I mean, you could
I don't
put.
know.
There's so many options. I mean, you could have
There's a lot of
Freeman,
options. But
I
maybe
think
Janssen
Rafael's-
will play another game.
or maybe you can even have. I mean,
In which
they
case, that changes
mean, they-
things too.
I
Maybe
mean, they could
Santos
put.
is ready to play a game.
Maybe. I mean, maybe Santos ready to play a game, or maybe it'll be. And again, this could probably be a another option. You could have Jensen right here with Schlegel, and then Salim and
Yeah.
Smith.
Does
That's
Salim
another
play right
option.
back?
He's a center back, but I'm sure he could definitely do well as a right back. I mean, he has this.
Yeah.
We've seen he has the speed. I mean, the speed he has. He's 21. He's a Syracuse. He wants an opportunity to play. If he's able to play as a win back, and he could be that win back we're looking for. I mean, it's a win-win for us. This is the game for us to definitely experiment with this. But I mean, then again,
I think if we start Petrasso and Holiday, then you got to take them off at like the 60th minute, sort of thing. Like I don't want them playing a whole game before, because those two are our best fullbacks, and we need them healthy and full fitness for next Wednesday. So
Yeah, so I
this
mean, I
could
think
be
this could.
what we go for. I think there's definitely some guys who got in there that are right. Like Dagerdan, I can see starting. I can see Salim starting. I can see Gonzalez starting. I can see Kyle Smith starting. I think those are very likely rotation options. Outside of that, it's hard to say. But
Let's read some comments here. It says, Bob Camango, thank you so much. ¿Qué pasa, chicos? Was in Colombia for 3 weeks and saw some OCSC shirts and hats as I traveled around. Good to represent. There you go, my friend.
Loved
That's
it.
fantastic. There you go. The more comment. I think Faku Jim D says, I think Faku might have a new pressure and stress due to being a dad soon. He's young and has a lot of pressure. Might be affecting his game a bit. Could be. Let's see, Jim D. Rooney's a master of the dark arts. I think this is a perfect match to go for it and get the attack working. I agree. Tromic, that's good for us in the long run. Maybe he won't leave us this summer. We have him for the playoffs. Correct. Tromic, Schlegel and Jensen been working surprisingly well so far. I agree. Al Negron says, I love you, John. I love you, dude, but it's Cartagena, no Cartagena. He
sorry,
laughs.
my Spanish pronunciation is terrible. I apologize.
It's okay, man.
My Venezuelan girlfriend will be laughing at me for my being told off for not being able to pronounce names properly. She's always telling me, "No, you said it wrong. You said it wrong." I said, "I'm sorry."
This is I would like to see Gonzo play more games now that he's healthy. He'll look good on Tuesday, Chad Elders. I agree. I think we should keep Gaston Gonzalez right there to start. I think that'd be a great good to have him lose some legs. Now, in my opinion, this DC game is definitely winnable, even with our B squad. I think we have the depth to definitely capitalize. Some keys for me that we need to break the Rooney curse, right? We need to break the Rooney curse. So we have that. I'm not going to play the clip, but you guys probably remember Will Johnson, now part of the Crusaders, loses the ball. Rooney takes off and sets up a chip goal from midfield it just had DC. Everyone in the MLS talked about DC about that goal the whole time. So since that point, a rivalry was created with DC. Now you're
And then there was
actually
the game that we threw it away with the last
exactly
2 goals when he was their manager last season. So
yeah.
they're kind of like they're like a bogey team for us, weirdly.
Yeah.
But they're not that great. We should be able to beat them. And looking at their lineup, like Benteke is a great striker, but you got to put the ball to his feet. Like he's not a mobile striker. He's going to be in the box. So as long as we keep it away from Benteke, they got Matthias Klitsch, I think his name is, the guy who came over from Leeds in midfield. He's a very good central midfielder, But outside of that, I'm not seeing a lot of threats in this team, And depth-wise, they don't have a lot of depth. So, they will be rested, though. Unlike us, they won't have played a game in the week. So they will have had a full week of rest. However, I don't see where a lot of goals are coming out of this DC team.
I think it's important for us to get the W, to get this guy back right here. I mean, I'm gonna be completely honest. People. I love the way he plays. He's a fantastic player, top talent in South America. But you have to understand, he has not been as a protagonist of the novel called Orlando City lately. He's been a secondary actor. I feel like against Tigres, he was trying not to get hit, so he was trying to avoid contact. He was trying to play rough, and these are the type of games that when you are the DP, you have to show a little bit more. I mean, I don't know if it's leadership, but I just feel like he hasn't really looked as sharp as I thought as he did before. We need to have him lead the offense. I mean, Mauricio Pereira, unfortunately, he cannot lead our offense right now. Not because he can't, it's because, I mean, Facundo Torres should be our breakout star, and whether you're pressing the ball, which I will recommend him to start doing, to be more defensively minded, not just going in the attack. It's not all about dribbling, it's also about recouping the ball. You have to, maybe it's just nerves. Maybe he was just nervous against Tigres. I mean, he played in Peñarol. Peñarol is a bigger club and a bigger fan base than Tigres. I highly doubt, and their stadium is, I think it's a better stadium than the one from Tigres. Um, the fans are much closer. I don't think it's he's scared of Tigres. I just think he was just maybe afraid of getting injured and playing his game at a level that he should play because of maybe injuries. I don't know. What are your thoughts regarding that?
I think it's a bigger issue this whole season with Torres so far. He hasn't really got going. Like he hasn't really started. And I don't know whether what was going on in January with potential moves to Arsenal, whether that has affected him, because sometimes that's something that can affect players. They think they're getting a big move to Europe and then it doesn't happen. And then they suddenly drop off their play at their club they're still at, right? So maybe that is it. The other thing I think more likely is that the fact that we brought Ojeda in and things are a little bit different for him in that attack, and the flow is different with Mauricio moving further back into the midfield. It's not the same as it was last year, and I see him, I think, trying to do the same things as last year, and maybe the gameplay isn't quite the same style for him, and it's taking him a little bit longer to figure out. But something is causing him to not look like Torres that we saw last year. And I'm hoping that this DC game, he gets that opportunity and he, does a great left-footed curler into the top corner, and then that's it. And Torres is off, and then he goes on a run of form. That's what we need to happen. But I think until he gets that first goal, then he'll really start going. And the same thing with Ojeda. I think people are worried about him, but
I expected him
do
to.
Our scouting.
I mean,
we know he's a very good player. Look at his stats in Argentina.
He killed it.
Sometimes they're not instantly amazing, but that doesn't mean they're a bad player. And it might take a minute, but patience.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I just want to say one of the things that I noticed from South America to the MLS, the intensity. A lot of Spanish South American players don't expect the intensity to be this big for the MLS, and when they get here, a defensive-minded player like maybe Araujo is able to adapt faster because he already has the skill to recoup the ball. Now, when it comes to the MLS, let's say, for example, Driussi. You see Driussi in Austin getting involved in the attack and defending as well. So you have to do the dual role. In order for you to get used to that, it takes a little bit of time. Now, Ojeda was solely attacking-minded in Godoy Cruz. Solely attacking-minded. So Ojeda was in charge of leading that offense. So I feel now him here played a secondary in a way. Robin, he was Batman in Argentina. Now he's Robin, right? So he needs to adapt to that, plus the intensity of the league, because people downplay the MLS in South America, but the intensity is much higher than many countries, except maybe Brazil. But the intensity is huge. So I think it's about time. I think it says what's happening with Ojeda, Chad Elders. Kind of disappointed so far. Really had high hopes. Had hopes he would come out and make an immediate difference. Right? Totally agree with you, sir. Jim D. Defenders know he's going to cut in to get on his left foot. Ojeda ends up central right where he's cutting in, and Carey's also occupying that space. Very crowded area.
He's talking about Torres. And
yeah,
Ojeda,
Torres.
Which is I agree, Jim D. That's exactly what I'm talking about with those two needing to figure out what's happening in that attacking play. And maybe there's an argument to say we play 4-3-3, right? And don't have an attacking midfielder at all, and put Torres on one wing and Ojeda on the other wing, and let them have all that attacking midfielder space, and play Mauricio and Dagger Dan as, deeper midfielders. We saw that at times before, with Torres, and it opened up space without having a number 10 there. And I think that is something that's happening a lot, that exact scenario that was just laid out. But more than that, it's the other way also. It's when Ojeda wants to move into the space, Torres is in his way. So they just not quite understanding how each other play. And because they're two, if this was a chessboard, that's your king and queen on the board, right? So they're your most important pieces. Those are the pieces that you got to figure out how they work and how they move together. So when that starts to click, then I think our whole offense will click. But part of the reason that Enrique, or a more mobile striker, is so important is because it's not going to click when you've got Kara in there, who's not willing to make the runs and play the way that Poppy wants to play. So first thing is get those guys firing, and then add in a striker that can also keep that same flow and not inhibit those guys from playing the way that they want to play.
Yeah, a huge opportunity for Orlando, heavy rotation. I really hope that we see Duncan Maguire. I think that's another key point for what's coming up against DC. Hopefully, he gets some minutes. I have a feeling that Oscar is going to go for Kara because we didn't see him against Tigres. But you can definitely tell that Ramiro Enrique, pressing wise, doing that dual role, attack and defend, he fits the MLS. And so he
I
fits
think
very well.
if he's potentially had a knock or is a little bit, injured,
No,
then definitely save him for Tigres. Like, we don't
no,
need him.
he
But
well. So
I agree. Duncan Maguire would be great. I'd love to see him.
So my sources say when it comes to the club that Ramiro Enrique, he was just. I mean, everyone that played against Tigres, they did different works in at the gym, so they're all fit. It's just that
Okay.
they were
So
doing
no
like
one's,
recovering. Yeah, they were doing recovery at the
yeah,
gym on March
that's
9th
good.
before traveling to DC. So let's see. I would like to see two up top. I agree with you. I mean, there's going to be games. Maybe this is a game that we could see two up top as well. I
Yeah.
just
I think
I have a feeling the way.
you got to play the back five if you're going to play two up top. I think that's
Yeah,
necessary. But we
yeah,
could do
five three
that. It's an
two,
option.
five
You
three
basically play
two.
how
Yeah,
Cincy played.
yeah.
But it's I don't know if that's one that we've got ready to go. I think we're going to see
Definitely.
the 4-2-3-1 most likely.
Yeah. So let's recap real quick our prediction for the starting 11. It will be Galese up as our number one, Freeman, Salim, Schlegel, and Smith. Two in the mid, Cartagena and Dagger Dan right there as your 10, Ojeda. Right wing Facundo, left wing Gonzalez, Gaston Gonzalez, and right up top as your 9, Erjan Kara. So that could be that's a prediction for the game against DC. I really want to thank everyone that was at the show today. About 13 people live right now. If you just got here and you missed the whole first part of the show, rewind it and watch it again. Drop us a like. Drop your comments. We'll read them on the next show as well. If you're listening to it, thank you so much for listening to our show. Be aware that to answer the survey right at Spotify and Apple Podcasts that we're going to leave right there. And what are your predictions? What's your score prediction there, John, for tomorrow?
I think we got a 3-1 win at DC. Actually, no. I make that 3-0. I don't think they'll score. And I think finally we score early, and then like the floodgates open, and then we just it's going to happen at some point. So why not this game? At some point we will start firing in the goals. So this is the game. I'm excited.
I believe Orlando wins 2-0. Another shutout. I think the goals is going to be from Abdi Salim of a header, and it's going to be my boy Wilder Cartagena. Hopefully, he makes his both scoring debuts from Abdi and from Wilder. Hopefully, so Knock on wood. I mean,
if either Dagger Dan or Duncan
yeah, that'd be
McGuire
great.
score, I'm going crazy. Like I'm
Yeah,
gonna beers going
yeah.
everywhere. It's gonna be
Yeah, if
nuts.
Duncan
One of
if
those boys
Duncan
score.
McGuire scores, we got a new attacker for sure. He's gonna go off. He's not gonna stop scoring. Yeah,
I think
I
at this
agree.
rate, anybody who scores, you're gonna make the lineup, right?
Yeah,
That's the
yeah,
sort of whoever
yeah.
wants to start putting goals in the back of the net, you're gonna put yourself in the team because no one's putting them into the net right now. So
When we'll probably have AC, maybe hopefully having a couple of minutes, maybe 15 minutes to get going for Tigres. But I want to thank everyone, Chad Elders, Jim D, Al Negron, Apopka Mango, Etramic. Now I want to say right now on our chat, right there on YouTube, there's our Discord server. You guys can join. It's completely free. If you want to talk OCSC 24/7, we're right there. We're available. And also, if you're on Facebook and you're really not so much of a Discord, Twitter, or Instagram person, I'm sending you the group. We have a group on Facebook, LPO. It's called the Orlando City Informed Discussion Group because the other groups that we were part of, they don't. I guess they don't want. I don't know. They don't want podcasts. I don't know. They're the little. It's like a fraternity. Like you gotta earn your enter. You can't even post anything on their wall or nothing. It's like get away from my Facebook group. So we created another. We created one. It's right there. Everything I go cover, I'll be there against Tigres. I already got my credential. So LPO is going to have pictures, going to have the press conference, everything for you guys. So, John, anything else you want to add before we go?
no, nothing more for me. Just really excited for this huge game against Tigres and encourage everybody to come out. I know it's a Wednesday night, but this is a massive game, and we really want to
Huge
show
game.
What we're all about. Like we went there, and you saw how loud and how passionate their fans
Yeah.
are. I want to see the same, loudness and passion from our fans, and the wall and everything that it can be. Just like when we know, like the Open Cup final, where it's a packed house. Get behind the boys, and let's get a big win on Saturday against DC, and then a huge game on Wednesday. So I'm excited for a big win. Let's go.
All right, guys. Let's go. Vamos, Orlando. Take care, guys. Have a
Vamos
good one.
Orlando.